In this video we'll be discussing about the budget, so Indian budget of 2023 and 24. So before starting the class, this is the disclaimer. So in this class we'll be exclusively discussing about the topics which are needful to the exam purpose of Prelims UPSC 2023. So and these will be sufficient to solve the MCQs in the exam, and we will not repeat the points here which are repetitive in the current affairs or any pure static parts. And if you did not understand any topic, or if you need any much more discussion of a particular topic, you can just Google it and have more knowledge about that concept. Okay, so now let's start. So budget 2024, 2023, 2024. So the first point is, so first we need to understand rupee comes from where. Rupee comes from, so if we are getting 1 rupee, so from where we are getting this 1 rupee? So the majority of it is getting from borrowings. So from borrowings and other liabilities we are getting the maximum amount. After it is the GST which gives the remunerative. Next is corporate tax, next is income tax, and next is excise tax, followed by customs tax. So here the important thing is, what the understanding which we need to have is, so first primarily is borrowings. So rather than any other revenue through tax or non-tax, so the major contributor in getting the major stake of rupee is borrowings and liabilities, and next followed by tax. So GST, corporate tax and income tax. Next followed by is excise duty and customs tax. So it is also maybe important sometimes. So among excise duty and custom duty, which contributes more share? So obviously the excise duty collection is more than customs duty. And here in borrowings, again in borrowings, so which type of borrowings? So we can have a trend that is observed. So mainly the market borrowings contribute the highest share, so which is followed by the securities against the small savings, which is followed by internal debt, and then followed by external debt. So here securities against small savings is simply like provident fund, Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana. So with these schemes, all the money will be going into these things. So within the borrowing, this is the trend. So like how rupee come from, we have understand, we will also understand where the rupee goes. So we are getting 1 rupee, so where that rupee is spent, so we will understand this order. So rupee goes to, so as borrowings are higher, definitely there will be interest payments in proportion to it. So interest payments will contribute the higher proportion, interest payments. Next is state devolution from the center of like taxes, duties, all those things. Next followed is centrally sponsored schemes. Next after it followed by centrally sponsored schemes. Then is defense, subsidy, and then pension. So this order is also important. So defense, subsidy, pension, something like DESP, you can remember like this. So interest payments, why it is interest payment? Because the borrowings are more from, so then after interest payments, it is the state devolution of taxes as per the Financial Commission recommendations. Okay, we understand from where the rupee comes and where the rupee goes, and the trend of both. Next, coming to subsidies. So we'll talk about the subsidy. So subsidy, we will understand the order. So simply understanding the subsidy trend. So it is simply, I remember it as FOFIFO. That is how I remember. So it means food is greater than fertilizer subsidy is greater than fuel or petroleum subsidy. So this is the order. Next is Government of India expenditure. Okay, government is getting rupee. So where the government of India is spending its expenditure, central government is spending its expenditure. The major thing goes to central sector scheme. Then after it goes to interest payments. Then after it goes to established expenditure of center. What is established expenditure of center? So which is prefixed like salaries, pensions, all those things. Then comes centrally sponsored scheme. Understand, earlier we talked about rupee goes to, it is whole about India. So this is, now we are talking about central government. Now we will understand the trend of deficits. So deficit trend. So primarily, majorly we will know we have four kind of deficits. One is primary deficit, one is fiscal deficit, one is revenue deficit, and other is effective revenue deficit. So which is more, which is less. So out of all, fiscal deficit is more, then it is followed by revenue deficit. After it is being followed by effective revenue deficit, then the last is primary deficit. So this is the trend of this year. So but until last year, what the funny thing is, until last year, so it is not the trend, rather it is in this way: fiscal deficit greater than revenue deficit, greater than primary deficit, greater than effective revenue. Effective revenue deficit used to be low, but it has occupied the third position. Next coming, so these are the major statistics or the trends which we need to remember. Next coming to some important information which is mentioned exclusively in the budget, we'll talk about it. So one is, so we know Even portal. What is, so there is something like Even and there is something like Cowin. Okay, wait. Okay, so Cowin. So Cowin, what everyone knows. So it is nothing but to track vaccine and beneficiaries. For that purpose, we have launched this Cowin. So this Cowin is a subset of Even. So Even is nothing but electronic vaccine intelligence network. So it is a broad term with respect to all the management activities related to the vaccine intelligence network. And we'll understand the difference between the hydrogen and ammonia. So we'll understand the exclusive difference between them. So basically this is produced, how this hydrogen is produced. So this is produced from, so there are many ways. One of the important ways is steam methane reforming. So what is this about steam methane reforming? Is basically from natural gas we will be getting the hydrogen. Similarly ammonia, so here we will be using, it is produced using the Haber-Bosch process. This is the first difference. And the second difference between these both is, second difference between both of them is energy density. So energy density of hydrogen is 3 times of hydrocarbons, whereas energy density of ammonia is half of hydrocarbons. It means hydrocarbon density is more than energy density of ammonia, you can say this way. So next important topic is Mission Antyodaya. So it is implemented by the Ministry of Rural Development. So what is the aim of this mission? It is mainly for sake of convergence of resources, so that the efficiency use of resources happens at the Gram Panchayat level, village level. This is about Mission Antyodaya. Next important thing is India G20 presidency. So we got this almost from December 2022 to almost November 2023. So this is the period which India will be acting as a G20 president. So what is the theme of this year? It is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So from where this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is bought is Maha Upanishad. And knowing more about G20, so basically there are 20 countries in it which are divided into 4 groups. So it means each group has 5 countries. So the presidency chair revolves among these 4 groups. Okay, so and about G20, it is basically formed in 1999. It is basically also an informal group. So as being it an informal group, there will be no permanent secretariat. Permanent secretariat. So there is no permanent secretariat for G20. Next important is, so there is something like Ujjwala Yojana. Ujjwala Yojana. So here A is extra. So Ujjwala Yojana, everyone knows it is related to the LPG giving cylinders to the BPL families in the name of the women household. So here Ujjwala Yojana, it is under the Ministry of Women and Child Development. What is the purpose of it? Is to combat trafficking. Next important scheme is PM Vikas. PMVIKS. So what is the full form of Vikas? Is Vishwakarma Kaushal Samman. So here Vishwakarma, who are Vishwakarmas? They are nothing but artisans. So the scheme is also related to artisans. So it is under the Ministry of Minority. So and it is a centrally sponsored scheme. So what is the aim of this? It is to increase livelihood of artisan community. So promoting, enhancing the livelihood of artisan community is the main aim of PM Vikas. So it comes under the Ministry of Minority and it is a centrally sponsored scheme. Next important hit point we need to remember is Tungabhadra. So river Tungabhadra is also known as from earlier days Pampa, river Pampa. And next topic is municipal bonds. So first municipal bond that was released is on 1997. So by Bangalore Municipal Corporation. So here whoever invested in it, he will be getting interest rate as well as principal both as tax exempt. Next important topic is natural diamonds. So naturally the diamond is available in mantle. So we know, everyone knows there will be crust, mantle, core, right? So in mantle region, so this natural diamonds will be found. And who is the which country has the largest natural resource of this diamond? Is Russia. And in India, where are the regions that this diamond is present? Is in Vindhyas, in Penna regions, in AP, in Karnataka, all etc. So in these regions we have the natural diamond present in India. Next important topic is Vibrant Village Program. So what is this Vibrant Village Program? So it is to increase the infrastructure in villages which are bordering China, so that the influence of these outer powers will not be present in this bordered villages due to development activities. So it might be a good trap by the UPSC, so remember it. So Vibrant Village Program is to increase infrastructure in villages bordering China. Next important topic is, so we need to know it, epichlorohydrin. So it is a compound, so it is basically a compound. So what we need to remember this is, it is colorless, and it possesses pungent smell and not odorless smell. So we need to remember these 2 points, colorless and pungent smell. And next is Bharat SHRI scheme. So what is this scheme? So what does SHRI means? It is nothing but shared repository of inscriptions. So I means here inscriptions. So the main aim of it is to digitalize 1 lakh ancient inscriptions. 1 lakh of ancient inscription needs to be digitalized is the main aim of this Bharat Shri Stream. So what does Shri means here is shared repository of inscriptions. Next important is MISTI. So what is the full form of this MISTI? Is Mangroves Initiative for Shoreline Habitat and Tangible Incomes. So what is this mystery related to? Means we need to answer directly. It is related to mangroves. M for mangroves. And with respect to mangroves, also one thing we need to remember is, so in COP27, which was held at Egypt, so there was a Mangrove Alliance for Climate has been proposed. MAC, Mangrove Alliance for Climate has been proposed. This is the extra point which you need to remember with respect to mangroves. Next is PM Pranam. So what is it for? PM Pranam. So it is, the main purpose of it is to decrease chemical fertilizer usages. So remembering this thing is sufficient. So PM Pranam means decrease of chemical fertilizer usages. Next and last important hit point is sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia elimination mission. So it is the mission that has proposed in this budget 2023-2024. So what is the main aim of it is to eliminate sickle cell anemia by 2047. So these are the main hit points with respect to the budget 2023 and 24. So knowing these points would be sufficient, and just revise these points multiple times. Thank you.